Manchester United 2 lies. Manchester United 1.
Oh.
Sevilla 2. Sadly, we got the score predictions the wrong way round. Manchester United losing, what can I say? I'll just pass it out to you, Ali, really. How are you feeling, man? It's 3 semi-finals, 3 losses.
Gutted, man. We had the chances. Like I said, it's only ourselves to blame. We had all the chances in the world to kill the game. Like I said, you don't score goals, you don't win games, you don't defend well, and you lose games. Like I said, the defense must have seen. They saw the chances. They saw the chances go past, and the keeper saving them. And again, the keeper had another worldie, and then it's just a number of errors for both goals. It's just deflating, man. Like I said, if we didn't have chances and we didn't create, then you say, okay, you know what, the better team won, but the better team lost there, man, completely.
Yeah, like you said, obviously, we had the chances. For me personally, we could have been out of sight. The fact that, we went 1-0 up, I think there was a bit of a mistake when we went 1-0 up. We kind of allowed them to get back in the game, which I wasn't happy about. But minus that literal 15-minute stint of them being in the game and scoring, we just bossed the whole game. Like,
Yeah.
What do you put it down to? Is it just one of those days at the office that it's just not going in? But this is the second game we haven't scored from open play. Is there more to it?
That's the concerning thing, is the fact that we actually, post-Christmas, we weren't creating chances and we were struggling. Now we're creating chances and we're not taking them. Obviously, last 2 games, I think we've had 33 attempts on goal, and scored 2, but both of them come from sort of penalties. So
yeah,
they're getting in positions, but they're just not clinical. And there's games where we can say Martial's clinical, Rashford's clinical, Greenwood as well. But then there's games where they're clinical when we're sort of 3-4 up, fine, not a problem at all. We get a position and you can get that. But when you actually need them to actually hit the back of the net, I think that was a disappointing thing, was the fact that the concerning thing was Martial, whenever he gets into the box, he's ice cold. You see him chip the keeper, he dinks it, he's very calm and collected. When he got for a goal this time, he was side-footing it. And again, the keeper had a worldie. The keeper
were closing down the angle very well, though.
Yeah, the keeper came up very quick. He spread himself really well, even for the Greenwood chance.
Yeah.
The keeper really quick and sort of smothered that sort of chance in terms of letting Greenwood sort of pick an area. But we just weren't clinical enough, man. We had our chance and we just didn't bury it.
What are your thoughts on Ollie's sort of in-game management? A lot has been said on the group chats, on the fan cams. I'm sure on all social media, a lot of people are talking about Ollie should be out. I kind of said on the group chat straight away when people called for Ollie, said that, whatever you think of Ollie, for me personally, this was not an Ollie at all. The only thing that Ollie did wrong, although some people might say it's a major thing, was a substitution, obviously, that had to happen. That was absolutely shambolic on his part. But what are your thoughts on Ollie? Was it like... And the whole situation of the game, really, the way it panned out.
So you can't blame him. I think he's not taking those chances. The players are the right players on the pitch. The players that he's got to his disposal are taking those chances, and they're missing. That's not his fault. The fault, I think, lies in his in-game management.
Yeah.
Sevilla haven't created a lot of chances. We know they're not that. They had the ball, but they weren't doing much with it, and the subs came really late in the game. There's no point in putting on Fosu Mensah and Dan James and Igalo with like 2-3 minutes to go. The Sevilla are going to have 6, maybe 7 defenders at the back. It's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
Whereas the fact he seems like a reactive manager than a proactive manager. At 1-1, you say, you know what, they're not creating a lot of chances. Let me take Fred off. Let me chuck Pogba a little bit deeper. Let me get someone else on the pitch. We were carrying Rashford the whole game.
Yeah.
Rashford for the last sort of 3 or 4 or 5 games, really. He could have said, you know what, they're not taking chances. I don't need Fred there, even though he had a good game. Let me take Fred off. Let me drop Pogba a little bit deeper. Let me bring on Mata or Lingard, etc. Just let me
Pereira
there. But just change it. And the fact was, he didn't change it. He changed it after they scored. And it's always fine. It's never fine being a reactive manager in any type of business, whether it be football or in the real world. You got to try and think and say, you know what, the game's going our way. They're not creating that much. Let's try and go for the win here. Sat back. They scored, and then you make a change, or then you wait another 5-10 minutes, and then you make the change. But I'm not going to get on his head too much. I think we've got used to, or I think everyone's aware that Ollie's sort of inept when it comes to making those substitutions at the right time.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the quality of depth. Like I said, You can bring on Matt. He's not going to inject pace. You can bring on Dan James, but he hasn't got the football mind to actually create the right or pass the right pass to anyone in the box, etc. So he's stuck with what he's got. But at the end of the day, the strikers didn't take their chances, and the defenders just made a hash of both goals.
Yeah, well, the defence, obviously, we'll touch upon them shortly. We have got a few comments here. One from Joe. It was an utter disaster with his squad depth. The United ways basically echoed that sentiment. Woodward needs to get the money out. It's as simple as that. We need quality, man. We don't have, like you just mentioned, look, you can't. I suppose Matty made a difference against Copenhagen, but you know it is what it is with Matty. You don't even know what's going to happen. He's at that age now. You know who he literally had no other options. Lingard. His other options, attacking option with Lingard. What can I say about Lingard? Dan James and Igalo. Again, none of them really. Like again, I'm not making any excuses for him because I do think he had to just change something and just roll the dice and hopefully, because like you said, Rashford was absolutely poor. Like he just couldn't do anyways. But let's touch upon the defense to finish off, man. Both goals, defensive errors, man. Obviously, the first goal, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I've got to be honest. But the second goal,
it's just like. Again, Lindelof, Maguire just didn't know their positioning for the first goal, and then
actually, I remember it's Sousa's, isn't it?
But it was a good finish. And the second goal, it's 4 against 2. It's there's 4 of us.
It's a hopeful ball into the box. He's not even aiming for anyone. He's just putting it in an area and hoping something happens. Obviously, he's got a deflection as well, but it's 3v1 in the box against a guy that's not even. That was his first goal in the Europa League in seven games.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Like I said, it's again we always seem to dominate games, and like I said, when it really counts, we sort of seem to fumble. When, like I said, it was 3 against 1, 4 against 2, whatever you want to call it. Williams wasn't tight enough. Maguire was in no man's land. Lindelof, at first I thought the striker must have called and said my ball, etc. Because the way he just casually left it, I think he must have that it was sort of Wan-Bissaka behind him, because he was there, but then he was like, no, I'm just going to leave it. Casually left. Then it just went in. I was like, has the player put him off and committed a foul by shouting my ball or I'm here, etc., whatever it was, but it was just shambolic. And going back to the first point in regards to sort of lack of depth and squad play, etc., the issue I have is the fact, like I said, Ollie's delivered his part. He's got us Champions League football. It's down to Woodward and the Glazers to actually get their sort of hands out their wallet and actually do it. But the concern is, if they're taking this long to even try and negotiate a Sancho deal, and then you've got to try and speed up. Well, I think we're almost a month away from the new season.
I was just about to say the season starts in less than a month.
Exactly, and Ollie's always said I want to get played, and things like, if you've been discussing transfers since January, maybe even March, or even the time when everyone was on when everyone was sort of not playing football, you've had months to decide which players are going to go in, what finances are available. Okay, if you haven't got the finances, how do we pay installments? You've had months of negotiating these internally before you even go to the club and say, okay, you know what, he's 60 million and then we can afford another 20, 30 million on top. And then you're basically asking us to somehow speed up a transfer, get Sancho done. I don't think it's going to happen anyway. And then go and get another 3-4 players. It's not going to happen.
It's not happening, man.
And then it'll be the same story next season. We're stuck with the same players. The first 11 will just continue playing. They'll get tired. We'll have a massive injury, and then we'll all moan about we haven't got the right players. We haven't got lack of depth.
But it happened last season, didn't it? Prior to Bruno coming in January, it was the exact same story, wasn't it?
Bruno's literally turned the season around. He saved Ollie's job. He saved the club. He's made players around him a lot more better, and that just shows if you recruit correctly and you buy the right type of flair player that the team's crying out for. Not only a fair player. We're talking about a centre back. We're talking about a left back. We're talking about a centre midfielder. We don't have the capacity to go out there and do 4 deals in a matter of 4 weeks. It's just not going to happen. We did it years ago. I remember when we signed Tevez and Hargreaves and players like that. That was done in a matter of days. That was very quick. Yeah. We've just spent flipping age on the Sancho deal, and if that doesn't come to fruition, we wasted all that time. And the other clubs will say, you know what, you've got 60 million there, and you're offering us 30, 40 million. Then we're going to just back around circles. It's just
going to be an absolute headache with all the negotiations as well, like you mentioned, man. It's just going to take too long, and that's just been the problem with the club at the moment for the last couple of years. Obviously, as we mentioned with Bruno, and we didn't sign him. We signed him because we got McTominay and Pogba was injured. McTominay, I think, was injured at the time as well. That was literally the only reason we signed Bruno. Otherwise, the club wouldn't have signed him. It's as simple as that. We probably would have finished sixth, and this Europa League game would have cost us top Champions League. So, do you know what I mean? It's just one of the things, and the club's an absolute shambles. But listen, Ali, thank you very much for your time as always. You know, as I always say, check out his social media. He does sell Man United shirts. Do you want to just plug it one more time for the viewers?
Yeah, guys. So, like I said, any football top from this season, name and number on the back. You can get delivered for £40. We've got a fresh batch of stock coming in next week. Obviously, I've got your top coming up, man. Yes. So, next week to you, brother.
No
so
worries.
Shout out, we can sort you guys out within a week, turnaround time max.
Yeah, happy days, flipping. I'll check the link in the Twitter. Check the link in the description for his Twitter. I've got Marcel's shirt on the back. Obviously, after today's performance, I'm have to change it. I'm joking. Before people kill me. But anyways, it's been your boy Usmaan. Peace. Drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you on tomorrow's podcast.